Hey guys, so I'm live again today, and I'm ready to be a little vulnerable with you. I'm going to share with you a little bit why did I really start this business actually, and where did it start for my whole family to be interested in natural medicine. So I have introduced myself to you and how I use doTERRA and since when I use doTERRA because of my children, because of their sensitivity to any other product, whether it was laundry detergent or skin products. All three of them had bumps, like, kind of like an eczema rash. Not eczema, but rash. So imagine most of you have children here. When I was just 2 years old, my parents heard from doctors, she will not live. Prepare for the worst. And this was me, just 2-year-old, very vulnerable girl. And from a month, I was 2 weeks on antibiotics and 2 weeks in hospital. I was very, very sickly. But I was eating all the healthy foods, everything that government told us that is healthy. Like I was constantly eating cheese and drinking a lot of milk, like chocolate milk, and the bacon I was eating, all the healthy stuff. And it was communistic country, and the saying went, I'm going to be translating it in my head, milk, cheese is the base, is the foundation of the health. So my parents thought they are doing the best they can for me. And they were so happy that I was eating well. It turns out it didn't do well to me, it didn't do good to me. And the first real memories of life I have is me bouncing on my father's shoulder when I couldn't breathe as he was running to the hospital, to the emergency room with me, because I couldn't breathe. And my lungs hurt until this day, just remembering it, just how I was fighting for every ounce of air. I didn't care if it was not fresh air. And as my father was bouncing, and every time I hit his shoulder, I was able to get a little bit that air with every single bounce. I think if we had a car, I would have died if he drove to that hospital. So this was my life. And my father, he was always very curious about things, and he had he had been doing his own research and taking little animals apart, like frogs and stuff. I know that's normal here in schools, but back home in Slovakia it wasn't. And he got into, he just realized that he saw a commercial or something. It wasn't commercial because it was communistic country. There was you could hardly get any information out there. So what he did was he remembered somebody talking about macrobiotics, which is overcooked food, and I believe that's what's suggested for people that are going through chemo. So there is, all the bacteria on the fruits and vegetables or whatever you're eating is killed. So this is what they started me on, and from there we just progressed. We stopped eating bread, we stopped eating cheese and milk, we were vegetarians, then we went vegan, then we went raw vegan, then we went back to normal food. So we've done all of it. But as soon as they changed my diet, within 2 weeks, I was the healthiest child in the school. 2 weeks. Little bodies recover really quickly from anything. We just have to give them a good fuel. Because if we start pouring water into our car, how far are we going to go? Not that far. So doctor was very surprised after a year. She called my dad to see if, we changed the doctor. My dad said, no, we didn't change the doctor. So she said, well, can I see Anita? And we came for well checkup. Well checkup, is it called? I don't know. So we came there, and she sat down, and that's the time she said, I thought she died. because she was used to seeing me constantly. Well, 6 years old, and first grade came up, and we went to school with my sister, and we started exchanging those expensive bananas for chocolate bars. But my immune system have been built until then to being stronger, so I was able to handle it. So my parents started to cook more, and we started to kind of eat normally, but it has never come to that extent that we were without vegetables or without sauerkraut or without these healthy habits that we have learned. And every time we steer away a little too far, something came up that we had to heal in our household. So it was my son. He had problems with lungs. I think it was because of, the inheritance. I had problems with lungs. I don't anymore. I was a heavy smoker as well in my teenage age. Unfortunately, I'm not bragging about it, but I have quit and I'm clean 11, 12 years now. And so we changed the diet again for my son. It was when we came to Canada and we were eating from food from how do you call them? Food donations, like church donations. I don't know what you call it, but it was basically canned food, nothing healthy. But we had to survive. We were newcomers. We didn't speak any English. We had no idea how long our money is going to survive, whether we were going to find jobs. So we had to food bank. That's what it's called. Like, we were eating from food bank. And my son started to get sick. So we decided, we were going to spend that money and we were going to eat well, because that's the basic, that's the foundation. We have to spend money to prevent all the hardship that can happen to our body. Our body is a vehicle. We have to take care of it. My son got well, and later on we were setting up a business. This was 2014. Between 2013 and 14, we were setting up a business with my husband, and it was a lot of paperwork, and I'm allergic to paperwork. I touch paper and I have eczema. I'm just kidding. It's not an allergy, it stressed me out to the point where I was preparing healthy foods for my family, but I didn't participate. And I have issues drinking water. This is why you're gonna see me drink from exactly measured water. So I measure my water. That's why I have a liter cup of water, and I make sure I drink at least 3 of them, if not 4 a day. But if I was gonna drink as much water as I need, I would drink maybe 1 cup a week. My body doesn't tell me. I don't get a headache when I'm dehydrated. So I have to watch it. And I have to watch it for my children, because they don't drink as well. My girls, my son does, but my little girls, they don't. So I came down with eczema, and I'm gonna share with you pictures after this video, what it was and how it looked like. It was very painful, and I wanted to end my life, but I had 3 children, so they kept me alive. If I didn't have them, I wouldn't be here anymore. So I'm very thankful, and I started fighting. I went to the dermatologist, I went to ER, I saw so many doctors, and I was not satisfied with their answers because of my past experience. So when I went to ER, the doctor said, "This looks painful." And I know he tried to be nice and understanding, but that was not what I needed to hear, and I wanted to punch him truthfully. The second doctor said, you're gonna need cortisol cream. The third doctor said, "Oh, that's candida, you need antifungal creams." But no one was doing really tests. Like, what is my liver doing? How are my eliminating organs doing? Why is this happening? I have a problem on my face, yes, but where is it coming from? Where is my weak spot? Where is the root problem? Nobody was looking at that, which really came down back again. Doctors aren't here to help me. They aren't going to help me. They're going to help me if I want to look good. But am I going to feel good? How long is it going to last? It's like, patching up something broken. Like, it isn't going to help. It's going to break again and again and again. So I was on a waiting list for dermatologist for 1 month. So when I got there, I spoke to her and I asked her, what is it? And she wanted to, again, diagnose me by visually diagnose me, and I refused. I told her that I'm hurting too much and I want her to do tests on my kidneys and on my liver, because I knew at that point I was drinking way too little. And I'm not kidding you. I drank maybe 1 cup a week. That could have killed me. So she took biopsy of my skin to diagnose what was going on my face, but she didn't test my liver, nor she did test my kidneys. And she gave me a prescription, and I told her I'm not interested in any prescription until I know what my body is doing, because that can be even worse. Well, then she threw at me this prescription and she goes, well, when you are dying, just fill it in. And that was it. That was something that was very painful to my heart. So I took the prescription, not with the way that I'm going to fill it in, but to show her what's possible, and to put it away and return it back to her when I'm healed. So I asked her, when the results are going to be done, when am I going to see you again? So she said it takes 30 days, about 1 month. As I was leaving, I looked back in the waiting room. Sorry. I looked back in a waiting room and I knew all these people are going to have the same answer as I got. This doctor is unable to help treat root cause of these people. They're going to get a cream that will damage exactly the root cause that is causing the problem. I had 30 days to get well. I didn't know my diagnosis yet. But I said, this doctor, I need to help her to understand that there is a way without toxic chemicals putting on my skin or into my body. So I took a challenge, and I don't suggest anyone to do what I did. That was dangerous. And I would have done it a whole differently now. But within those 30 days, I have healed my skin completely. My skin does not look as good as it did before when I went to see the doctor, actually, after. No, not now, but when I went to see the doctor. I mean, when I came back to her office, she didn't recognize me. And you're going to see why, because the face looked horrible. I had people crossing the street, crossing the road, just so they don't have to pass me. That's how bad my face looked. It was all swollen and it was all puzzy. Pus was leaking from my face. I can't live that way. I can't have people staring at me as she's so ugly. What is that? Is that like, how do you call it, the leprosis, or is it contagious? What is it? It looked like from horror movie. So I came back to the doctor. She didn't recognize me, and when she looked down in the description in my papers, then she shot back up, looked at me, and I told her, yeah, that's me. Here is back your prescription. But I didn't just want to show her what's possible. I wanted to give her my detailed way how I did it. So I did 5 minutes by 5 minutes schedule what I did. When I went to poop, when I went to pee, when I drank, how much I drank, what did I drink, what did I eat, when did I exercise, what did I exercise, how did I feel at that moment, when did I wake up, when did I go to sleep. Everything was on that paper. Everything was on that schedule. All the supplements. And I ended up, and I was applying essential oils on my face. The first thing she grabbed was the essential oils. She goes, those are toxic. You should stop using them. They are addictive. I go, well, you wanted to prescribe me something that you told me I'm going to have to take for the rest of my life, cortisol creams. How is that competing? And cortisol creams are bad for our liver. Like, there are side effects. Lavender and melaleuca don't have no side effects, only the good ones. And I'm not using it for my face to feel better anymore. At that point, I wasn't using it. So that was the time when I was looking at the people in the waiting room saying, this woman will not help them. This woman doesn't want to help them. I have to show them what I know. I have to show people. I have to show the world what's possible if the doctor who we are actually paying is unable to do so. And you know what? Not all the doctors are this way. There are fantastic doctors that actually have their eyes open, but this was not one of those. So this was my little rant. rant. I'm not sure how to say it. You have a good day and check out the photos that I'm gonna